The topic is student activities at Tennessee State University, and we're talking to Ms. Phyllis Quarles-Brooks, who is the Director of Public Relations at Tennessee State University, and Ms. Fannie H. Perry, who is the Director of the Counseling Center and New Student Orientation at Tennessee State University. Ms. Perry, before we had our break, you were telling us some of the activities of the peer counselors, and certainly we want to continue that line of thought. But before we get into that, let's look at registration, Ms. Quarles, and see if you can perhaps give us some information about registration. Then we'll get back into the peer counselor activities that you're involved in.
Registration is a major process at the university, and we hope that we have everything in place and lined up for all of our students, the new students as well as those returning. Registration for new students only will be on Tuesday the 20th, and then it will, by alphabet, I might point out, and then it will continue the following days, the 21st through the 23rd, for other students by alphabet. And if you've done everything prior to now, as far as pre-registration, it's a very simple process. If you haven't, then there are certain steps that you have to take. And if you are a last-minute student and you have just decided that you want to attend Tennessee State, there is a possibility that you can still attend, but you would have to go through the full process of applying, being admitted, and so that would be toward the end of the week for that process. But it is still possible, but you can't come in and do it right away and be put in the process of all those students who have already applied, already been accepted, already been admitted. So we want people to keep that in mind, but we are expecting a banner year of students this year, as with the freshmen, as Mrs. Perry was discussing.
Very good. Ms. Perry, I think Ms. Quarles-Brooks mentioned the fact that it's never too late to come to Tennessee State University. And I would imagine that as the Director of Counseling, you run across a number of students who just heard about Tennessee State University yesterday and showed up. But let's talk about that, because I think that a large number of people, for whatever reason, decide that it's impossible for them to come to college. For whatever reason, they take a lot of time and they never complete any forms and et cetera. But now, what if they do show up? What are some of the possibilities of that happening?
We have that quite frequently. Most students coming to Tennessee State will say one thing: I didn't apply because I didn't have any money. Then they find out about financial aid. That's another process, because that is controlled not only by our Director of Financial Aid, Mr. Lee, but also Washington, where federal monies are coming from, grants, loans, agreements with banks. And they come up with some new programs where families can be involved, and parents, and make loans for students. But during the process of registration, we have quite a few parents coming in because the student might have decided to go out of state, and at the last moment didn't want to break that string and decide to stay home. If their papers are in order, and we do have fax machines, and information can be gotten to the Office of Admissions and Records, they can be admitted. But like Ms. Brooks said, you have to wait until you've been admitted to the university by the admission officer before you can start the process of selecting classes. Another thing, some of your classes might close, but there's always a curriculum where you can start taking some of the courses that you will need. We do get quite a few. Let me just say this, Dr. Haney, we had 2 priority orientations this summer during the month of June and July. And at that time, we had a large number of students coming in with their parents, and we've already registered a large number of our students this year. So the persons that's coming in on the 16th to take the AAPP test, those are the persons who could not make it to the priority orientation. I was admitted after that date.
But there's always that possibility
Yes.
of students to do come to the university and, for however, be admitted and perform quite well in the university environment. I think, Ms. Quarles-Brooks, you've made quite a reputation, I think, talking about Tennessee State University on some of the media, radio and in the news and et cetera. What can you say in terms of telling parents about some of the possibilities of their children at Tennessee State University? I mean, how are they protected, and some of those from that perspective?
Well, Tennessee State University is a community of about 10,000, and I think that's what we first should focus on. It's as large as some small towns, throughout this country. So we need to remember that. And Tennessee State is a part of society. So we can't say that nothing wrong will ever happen. So we have to keep that in mind. But beyond that, the university extends every possible avenue to protect children, or these young men and young women, children of the parents, and to provide a safe environment for them. We are about 500 acres in northwest Nashville on the Cumberland River. We are undergoing a $112 million construction project that's nearly complete. So we are a beautiful showplace in Nashville. Our academic buildings and facilities are second to none. Our faculty, of course, is one of the most impressive in the nation. And our housing facilities are excellent. Our residence buildings for the men and women are very, very accommodating. There's an honors floor in each residence life building, and computer terminals in every building. So we make the accommodations very pleasant. As far as safety and the environment, there are code blue emergency phones throughout the facility. We have several organizations who serve as support organizations and escort services for students who are coming back and forth from the library or from the campus center. And we encourage one taking care of one. If you see something that's happening that's out of the ordinary, to report it as quickly as you can to authorities. For those students who are coming to the university for the first time, whether they are transfer students or freshmen, it's a different situation leaving home. It's not high school and going to the school and coming back. You are on your own, really. You can make your own decisions, whether you will go to class, whether you won't. You know, there's no one there to get you up in the morning. So there's a transition there that these new students will have to make, and the counseling center that Mrs. Perry directs, along with some other sources, provide that special support. Is that right? That's right. For those students, so that they can make the transition in a very positive way.
And of course, Ms. Perry, we've got another break coming up, but after this second commercial break, we want you to talk about some of the other activities dealing with the various groups, peer counselors, I think you call them, and some of the special problems and, quote, some of the special challenges that you might have in your area. And we'll be back with you following this commercial break.